Thanks, Rachel. So I'll just share my screen. My talk is about how to make your online lectures more engaging, and so I've made a video. Actually, sorry. Okay. Hello, comrades. One of the biggest challenges of shifting to remote delivery is changing your lectures. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 key strategies that I used in a large discussion-based course in philosophy to modify my lectures so that they were more accessible from a remote delivery standpoint.
So my challenge, a challenge that will not be unfamiliar to a number of you, was to teach a first year introductory class, so in this case philosophy and over 300 students, online. Now, the typical on-campus lecture style I would use would involve lots of discussion and lots of student interaction. And so this set up a real problem for me, right? And we also have these constraints on remote delivery. The lectures have to be accessible in different time zones, they have to be engaging and accessible to students with limited time. So the challenge I was facing was how to maintain student engagement and interaction in an asynchronous online lecture format, whilst caring for kids, relatives, spouses, ourselves, and not going insane. So, before I tell you what worked for me, what sort of strategies for making recorded lectures engaging worked for you? So I've popped a Padlet link in the chat box for the Zoom meeting. I'm going to pause the video for a second, and what I want you to do is go to the Padlet and add some thoughts of your own.
Okay, so if everyone could do that, I've got the Padlet up myself. You just head to that link in the chat box. Awesome. I like the suggestion to include your pets. That was a feature of some of mine, my cat. Okay, while you do that, I'm going to press play and continue because we're quite short for time today.
Now, the 3 things that worked for me were keeping each video short, including opportunities for engagement and interaction, so that watching the videos is active rather than passive, and making the videos fun. Now, I should note that there's going to be a number of things that I mention in this video. You don't need to do all of these things. In fact, most of the things I talk about are things that I've sort of incrementally developed over the last 6 months. But even just one of these little steps can improve your videos and make them more accessible to students. So the first of these, keeping the videos short. So I recorded my weekly material in short mini lectures, each focusing on a question or a narrow topic rather than recording what would have been 2 one-hour lectures in the normal delivery. So this is the typical kind of weekly videos I would offer for Philosophy 1004, so for introductory philosophy. In this particular week, we were looking at the problem of conscious experience. So then in the first video, I sort of introduce the problem. In the second video, I talk about one of the responses to the problem, so dualism, and there's a couple more videos about dualism, and in the last video, I discussed a reply. So I broke up the videos by topic or by narrow question relating to the overall topic for the week. I kept the videos as short as I could. So a lot of you will have come across various bits of evidence online about how having videos online that are kind of beyond sort of 10 minutes is a waste of time. That's really beyond the length at which people keep watching. Now, I decided that keeping my videos entirely to less than 10 minutes probably wasn't going to be realistic, although that was my goal. Some of them are longer, some of them are up to 20 minutes. I figured a TED talk is 20 minutes, so I want it to be no longer than a TED talk. But the vast majority of my videos are less than 10 minutes, and some of them are even shorter than that. So you'll note here that 9.3 is only 5 minutes long. Now, I also used a lot of really great videos that are already online. So I included them where it was appropriate. And in this case, I used an animation of a key thought experiment of the problem of conscious experience that had been made by TED and put online. And so they'd done a much better job of illustrating the thought experiment than I could do myself. So it seemed better to just make a link to that video. I made sure that I gave each video a title that made clear what was in each video so that students wouldn't have to scroll through heaps of videos to find the material they're looking for. And this is particularly important when we think about them looking at the material for revision or for writing assessments. It also meant that if a student had read something and they wanted to learn more about it, they could click on the right video. I see this as being important later as well. If I reuse the videos for courses, I'll know where exactly the material I want is. Now, many of you will have noticed by now that I'm not using Echo 360. I used an unlisted YouTube channel, so it's worth noting that this means that the videos are only accessible via a private link, so it's not public. No one else can see those videos unless they've got my private link. And I did this for a few reasons. First, it makes it easy for students to access the videos on any device. So they should be able to access them on their phone, on their tablet, any device. They can listen to the videos or watch them on their mobiles using a YouTube app. So they can be at the gym and listen to them. They can be out for a walk and listen to them. And I tried to make sure as I recorded them that I was cognizant of the possibility that they weren't seeing the visuals. It's also just really easy to use, and there's a lot of analytics and stuff on YouTube that you can access. So I found YouTube for me the best way to store and disseminate my videos. Now, how did that go with the students? What did they think? Well, this was something they really liked. So they really liked having the short videos. They liked that they were able to dip in and out of them. They liked that they could go for a walk between them. They really liked being able to re-watch particular videos. So if I look at my analytics, I can see that there are particular topics that they've watched lots of times. The ones that the essays are on, for example, have been watched lots of times. Also ones that were a little bit tricky, they've been watched lots of times. So this means that then they can really kind of digest the material and they're not looking at a really long 2-hour sort of segment and trying to work out where the material they want is. I think also the comment at the top right really surprised me, but it makes sense, is that having 4 short videos is much more motivating than one really long one. So it's easier for them to motivate themselves to listen to one 15-minute long video right now than to be committing to watching an hour. Okay, so what else worked for me? Another thing that worked for me was including opportunities for engagement and interaction throughout my lectures. So I wanted them to be an active rather than a passive affair, kind of like I would have in class or in person. So the first thing to do was really simple, which was just to ask the students questions. So throughout the videos, I stop and I ask questions. Now this sometimes is just me asking a question, saying, well, think about this, and giving the students a couple of seconds to do so. Other times it involves something a little bit more interactive. So I might suggest readings to do before moving on to the next video. So in some of the cases, what I did was I made sure that the video covered material up to a point, then I direct the students to a reading, and then the next video starts off at kind of a natural point from having got that other background material in the videos and the reading. Sometimes I'd stop at a point and say, look, this reading elaborates on this case study or elaborates on this argument. I encourage the students to use the YouTube comment function. So any of you have used YouTube, I'm assuming all of you have. At the bottom of the videos, there's a comment function. I used that, and then I could reply to their comments, and other students could see what questions had been asked. Another thing I did was to ask students to write down some ideas or thoughts early on in a video that then I asked them to reflect on later. So I might be talking about something like the relationship between the mind and the body, and I say, what do you think the relationship is? And then later I'll say, what do you think now, given what you thought, what we've discussed, and compare that to what you thought earlier and what's changed. I also use things like Padlet. So we've already used Padlet in this presentation, and you will have come across it before, assuming with the EDS activities through CAS. But Padlet is a really great way to encourage discussion between students, and it's something you can have up there and the students can keep kind of discussing over time. The other thing I did a little of, which was also good, but a little bit more work for you is to make worksheets for the students to fill in during the video. So if there was something that was particularly difficult that I wanted them to kind of really understand, then I might provide a worksheet that we slowly work through during the video, and I just provide that as a PDF, and I tell them that you need to have that available to you when you watch this video. Now, what did students think of this? They really liked it. So the approach to the course, they said, was the interactive approach was fun. They made it less repetitive. They really loved having that connection with the readings and making it so that it was really clear when they should be doing each task that I had set for them. They also liked that it forced them to think about the material, not just kind of passively consume it. The last thing I did, which sounds easier, is easier said than done, is making the videos a bit of fun. And it doesn't require much. It does require you to kind of let your guard down a little bit. So you'll have noticed at the start of this particular video, I had some cheesy music. I include a bit of a personal welcome and an update at the start of each videos, and I just use iMovie. So I'm not doing anything particularly difficult. I use iMovie, which if any of you have a Mac should be on your computer. It's really easy to use. Just Google, and Google is your friend on this, but iMovie has all of the information, and the students, again, really like this. They like the music, they like things being a little bit light, and they enjoy and find them entertaining. Now, I don't know what to think about this, but I know that this was shared with me by one of my tutors as having come up on a Facebook page called ANU Crush 2.0. Let's just say part of the reason why this may have happened is because I never ever have my face on my videos, but it's disturbing. So now, just to kind of illustrate that kind of fun, I want to do a quick quiz on Kahoot. So if any of you haven't come across Kahoot before, go on your phone or tablet. It works much better if you do that. Put in kahoot.it. We're going to switch over to the Kahoot, and then we'll come back to the last bit of the video. Okay, so I'll just quickly switch to my Kahoot screen. Okay, so... Oh, yep. Okay. Okay, so you need to open up kahoot.it on your phone, and then you need to enter the code there. Sweet. Okay, let's start. So use your phone to answer the question. So I tried to keep my video lengths. Okay, next question. Most of you got that right. Oh, we can see who's winning. So you get some points for going too fast. The code is at the bottom of the page. Anyone who needs it. So just at the bottom there, the game pin. Sorry to those who missed out. Okay, most of you got that one. Okay. We're almost done, Rachel. Last question. So you can select more than one answer. Okay, let's see who is our winner. KD came third. Marina. And our overall winner is Kate. Okay, so if I just return to my video very, very quickly to play the very last bit. Where are you? Yep, okay. Here we go. Last 20 seconds, Rachel. So, those are my 3 tips. If you have any comments or questions, I'd really love to hear them. And I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Okay, that's it.